Hello and welcome to Mill Lab number 4. One of the things I want to point out here, if you do download it, it's going to say Mill Lab number 6. Uh, I'm having to do things a little bit differently because we're working from home, so this is actually going to be Mill Lab number 4. I've got it up here as Mill Lab number 4, so don't freak that out. I'll try to put that someplace where you can see it. So let's get started. What we got here, okay, we've got this part right here. We got our top view, we've got our front view. Here's going to be x0, y0 is going to be in the lower left hand corner. Z0 is going to be at the top of the part. Remember, x-axis is this way, y-axis is that way, and of course z's up and down. So we've got a little island here with some radiuses in it, or radii. The island is 200 thousandths tall. The whole part 700 thousandths thick altogether. I'm going to have to do this because I just couldn't get it back there. One of the other new things that we're going to see here is we're going to drill some holes. Now this right now, I'm going to point out, it does say it's a quarter 28 UNF2B. That means that's a quarter 28 Unified National Fine Tap, and that's going to tap all the way through here in 4 places. 1, 2, 3, 4. We are just going to center drill and then drill today. So we're going to have some multiple tools in this one. First off, if you go back up into the to the instructions, which mine are like this, so it's stupid for me to show you to, so I'm not going to. They want us to use a 15/16 end mill that's 4 flute. So let's go over this. I've got some stuff already started here. Got the program name. An awful lot of people are still not using a capital O right here. If you don't use a capital O right there, the control will not recognize it as an NC program and won't even load it. Okay. Notice I've got my name in it. You need your name in there. Mill Lab number 4. We got our safety line. Nothing's changed there. We got our G54. That's always going to be there. T01MO6, it's 15/16 CNML 4 flute, that's always going to be there. The RPM is wrong, so let's go ahead and calculate our RPM up real quick here. Let me test, I have to read sideways, sorry. Using a cutting speed of 120, and we're using a feet of tooth per 3,000, so I'm going to write that down so I don't have to keep looking at it. Feet of tooth to 3,000ths. Okay, and a cutting speed of 120. So cutting speed is 120. Put this down here, 003. Go up and let's get the calculator going. So how do we calculate RPMs? Remember, it's cutting speed 120 times 3.82 equals that, okay, and divided by the diameter. Now you can't easily put 15/16 in here. I happen to know the decimal equivalency of 15/16. It's 0.9375 or 937 thousandths of 5/10. See, just another reason. So we're actually going to run about 400. We'll just go 500 in this case. We'll go 500. That'll be fine. So that's our spindle speed, Control S. Next line, right here we're activating our tool length offset. That never has to change. Okay, we are going to do some multiple tool changes in this program. Notice that my sequence numbers are going by 10 this time. So let's get our caps lock on, which is always hard to remember, but it's the fact, you have to have it. So line in 60. Later on, you know what, I'm going to put a space here anyway. There we go, line in 60. So what do I want to do here? Well, like I said, we got a spindle run. We got this going. So the next thing we're going to do is G00 is already active. I'm going to start programming this now more. I'm going to optimize my program. What I mean by that is I'm going to use less keystrokes. It's time for us to start doing that. Okay, less keystrokes. That means less chances of error, smaller programs, easier to read, at least for you. The machine does not care. So today I'm going to put just what the machine needs and nothing else. All right? All right. So what's first thing I want to do here? Well, in this case, I'm going to go ahead and rapid. So I'm already in rapid mode right here, G00, and it stays that way until otherwise changed into a G01 or G02 or another G code that would cancel that out. G codes do come in families. That's nothing we'll really need to talk about right now. So let's go x 0 point space y 0 point space z point 1 space m08. So what did that line do? Control S, by the way. That line went ahead. That moved. It's going to rapid the machine to x0, y0, and of course, then turn Z is going to go down to 100 thousandths above the part, and the coolant is going to come on. All right, so line in 70. So at that point, we need to talk about safe start. So on this part, we're going to do the same thing we've always done. We're going to first just mill the outside, okay? All right, then we're going to mill the island, okay? All right, we're going to do this in multiple passes. We're going to be leaving stock. We're going to be trying to do all of this. I'm most likely going to have to do this in probably 2 parts. We'll see. And what I mean by 2 parts is I mean because the video would just be too long. That's what I meant. All right. So line 70, what I want to do here is I want to come up with my safe start position. So I want to start someplace out here. Here's this is going to be point 1, point 2, point 3, and point 4, and then back to point 1. So let's just start right there. And let's see. So half of 5/16. Well, 500 thousandths would be fine. Because if you take that 0.9375, let's clear that out here. Divided by 2, yeah, 500 thousandths is very safe. So I'm going to go we're going to do once it's already down there, I'm going to go ahead and move X to minus 0.5. And like I said, I'm not going to put any insignificant zeros in here anymore. The control does not need any more than what you see right there, comma, y minus 0.5. Now, if you don't put that point in there, that's a very significant digit. Bad things happen. So I moved off to x minus 0.5, y minus 0.5, so I'm down here someplace. Great. New line. Control S. Space. All right. Now, let's see. Part 700 thousandths thick. I'm not going to assume that I can take that all in one pass. We're going to take it in 2 passes. So right now I'm going to go G01, remainder linear interpretation. Let's go back and show you something. Guess what? You don't need to put a G01. What? You don't? No, you do not. You can just put a G1. That's all you need. Like I said, I'm optimizing things. If we're going to optimize things, then let's just do it all the way. There we go. You don't have to have that there. Either M8, G1. So saving you a couple strokes. See, I'm not carrying things out to 3 places or stuff like that. Like I said, we're optimizing our program. So G1, I want to move Z down to half of 700. That's 350. So Z minus 0.350. Okay, and of course we always know with any G1 there's going to be an F word. And here, let's see, we said we were going 3,000 feed per tooth. So let's calculate up our feed real quick here. We've already got our RPM calculated up as 500. So we've got 4 teeth, 4 flutes, 4 teeth. 4 times 0.003. Guess that's going to equal 12, isn't it? Yep. And then multiply that times the RPM. That's all you got to do. And we end up with 6 inches per minute. Now let's try it again. This time I'm just going to use the keyboard, clear it out. So I got 0.003 times 4 equals this, times 500 equals, see, that's as fast as you need to go. Now let me show you, I'm going to show you the right way, 6 point, that's all you need to do. You don't need to put a 0 there. You definitely need to put that decimal point. If you don't put that decimal point in there, and I've said this many times, if you just put in F6, this is what the control will see. That's what it will see. If you're feeding at 6/10,000ths of an inch per minute, that means you take an inch, divide it into 10,000 equal parts, and you're only moving 6 of those every minute. You're not even going to notice. The machine's not barely going to run. Trust me, that is a big error for a lot of people just starting out. So 6 point. If you want to put a 0 there, you can. You don't have to. Control S, new line. Let's go N90. All right. So now Z is down. We're at our safe start position. I'll put safe start up here. Okay. Okay. Back up there. SAF. Safe start. And we'll put a nice little space in front of that. And Control S. Okay. So we brought Z down 350 thousandths. We got the coolant on, we got the spindle running, we got tool length activated, everything's looking really good. It's time to do what? Well, it's time to comp over. So now that G1 is modal. Let's make sure we understand what modal means. Modal means it's going to stay that way until you change it. The old thing I used to tell, but a lot of if you knew anything about manual transmission, if you put it in first gear, it stayed in first gear until you put it in second gear. For those of you who ride motorcycles, maybe you understand it, maybe not. But bottom line is that G1 is going to stay there. I don't have to type it anymore. All right. Now I did tell you this, that on some older controls, all right, they really get anal about this because we're going to apply our cutter comp now. So I'm going to go ahead and put the G1. I don't need to put it there, but I'm going to just that. G1, we're going to be doing cutter comp left, so that means the cutter is going to be on this side. Remember, we're always going to be climb milling, which means on the outside you're going in a what? A clockwise direction. If you were on doing like this is outside too, but if we were doing a pocket or something on the inside, would be the other way. Okay, so let's do that. G1. So what was the G code for cutter comp left? I believe it's G41. G41. Okay, and that you need both. Yes, the 4 and the 1, you need both of them. New, we space it over, and I'm going to have X come over to 0. So X 0 point. That's all I need right there. Okay, next I'm going to go ahead and do this. Don't forget your D number. Now, last week, we're just going to use D, and I can use, by the way, D1. It doesn't have to be D01. That's right. So Control S. And that feed is already modal. Feed is modal. That G code is modal. Okay, so I don't need to put down the feed. This right here will now, we're down over here. We just moved over here. Now it's looking for its next thing here. Let me see. Let me see if there's anything else we need in there. Nope. G41, D1. Nope. New line. N100. All right. Very good. So I already told you the G1's already active. So at this time, all I want to do here is tell it where I want to go to. So this is position 1, position 2, 3, 4, and back to 1. So we're going to tell it to go to 2. So what is 2? Well, 2 is Y2. This is all you have to do. That's it. Control S. Yep, you're going, what? Yep, you don't have to type all of that extra stuff. Okay? At that particular point, cutter comp is active. Now all I have to do is put in only the axis. Now, so I moved up to Y. Now I'm going to move over to X. X is 3 inches. So guess what? It's X3 point. X3 point. New line. Control S if you haven't done it. So now I'm right here. I'm at X3, Y2. Now I want to go back down. So where do I want to go back down to? I want to go back down to Y0. So Y0 point. Word about the 0 point. A lot of people go, do you really have to put a decimal point at 0 on a lot of controls? You do not. More Sikis, things like that, more advanced, more sophisticated controls. No, but look, I don't know what control you're running. Just give the 0 a decimal point. It won't hurt. All right. But if you don't do it, it might. That's the best I can say. Control S, new line, N130 space. Okay, so now what we're going to do? This time we're going to take X all the way back to our safe start position. So X is going to go back to minus 0.5. All right, that's it. Now why did I just go right back to here? Because remember, we want that end mill to go past this edge. We don't want this to stop right there because then it wouldn't complete the cut. So we're going back here to our safe start. All right, and since I have come on, baby. There we go. Let me see this thing. There we go. Safe start X, Control S. Okay, now I want to turn the cutter comp off. All right. So new line. All right. So how are we going to turn the cutter comp off? We're just going to first off, we're still in G01, so we don't have to do that. Now I told you before, some people rapid this. It's not probably a good practice, so leave the G01 there. I'm just going to go ahead and go G40. This is all you need to do. Now, swear to God, you can't do G4. All right, because what the control will see is a G04. All right, so we're not looking at that, right? We want G40. That is significant. G40 and y is going to go to minus 0.5. That's it. Control S if you haven't done that in 150 space. All right, that's my first pass. Now what I'm going to do here is, since this is all my first pass, and notice I didn't, again, let's go over the rules of cutter comp. No M codes between the G41 and the G40. No anything else. Just axis moves, okay? And remember, only Y and X. You cannot make a Z move on most controls. And I have to say most controls, again, there's maybe some more sophisticated controls out there will let you do that, but most will not. So you put a Z move in there and expect it to work and go, what's wrong with it? It won't work. Now, if you're listening to this video, you've heard me say that a couple times. So at this point, I'm going, all right, what do I need to do for my second pass? Because I want to make another pass. All right, I want to make another pass here because we only went 350,000 steep. So I'm going to do some copying here. I don't want it to go to X0. I do want to do this. This is an excellent. So we'll go from here, and I'm going to go all the way down to there. I'm going to copy that. I'm going to go right here. I'll get rid of this here because that's just going to get in the way. There we go. And I'm going to paste it. I'm going to hit Control S. I'm also going to do this. All right, I'm going to put and space here. Won't hurt a thing. All right. I'm also going to copy this right up here. And watch what I do here. Just again for this is how we're taking notes. Well, maybe not. Maybe I didn't copy it. Let's try it again. Felt like I copied it. Nope, I don't think I did. Yeah, I did not. Safe start. I'll change that to Y. Control S. All right. So let's see what we got here. Go back over here. I'm going to resequence these numbers manually real quick here to keep everybody straight. So we made one pass at 350 thousandths. So we're going to go back into here and change this to what? This is 700,000 steep over here, right? So 710 will clear it for sure. And that's all you need. You don't need that extra zero. Control S, good time to do that. Okay, guess what? This will make a whole nother pass. All right, it really will. It's going to go right in there and make it. Now I can, like I said, in the interest of this, I'm going to manually do this. You know, yep, I know, boring. You can fast forward. Now I can't do the quick stuff. All right, Control S. So now I've got this all nice and sequenced out there for you. So what did I do? I just went ahead and took two depth passes. One at 350 thousandths, the next one at 710. And like here's another thing I could do here. Say I don't need that zero either. See, optimizing my program. You know, if they're not significant digits, you don't need them. All right, you don't need them. So I got rid of that one too. I mean, that's just that. All right, at this point, I made two passes. Now the problem is this. Now you see I had a D1 here. So remember what that D number meant. It's that when the control reads this program, the G41, it's going to go into your tool geometry table or page or whatever you want to call it in the control itself, where you have told it the actual diameter of the end mill. Well, last time we did things a little bit differently. I changed that to D2 just to make it straight. I can still tell it that D1's bigger. So what I'm going to say is that D1, and I'm going to put this here, D1 in this case is actually going to be, I want that to be 30 thousandths bigger per side or overall. That'll leave me 15,000 stock. I think I said in this one 40,000 stock. Let me see here, 20,000 stock per side. It's always great to be able to leaving 20 thousandths. Yeah, so I am leaving 20,000 stock. So that means 40 thousandths bigger. So let's tell it right here. Let's pretend we know it was 0.9375 plus 0.04, okay, equals that. That's what the actual, I would tell it Now, I think it was 0.9775. Yes, it was. Okay. So I'm going up here, 0.9775. Close that back up. Control S. That's the size of the end mill I'm going to tell the control is using. I'll just copy that. This is again notes. Copy. Go down here. Paste. So right now I'm telling it I am tricking the control, and that is going to, what it's doing is it thinks it has it's a bigger end mill, so it's going to it's going to comp further away. Now, that's what size you would tell the control. You're actually using that size end mill right there. So what it'll do is it's going to leave 20,000 stock here on this line, 20,000's here, 20,000's here, 20,000's here. So we've made two passes, okay, right here. Made one pass at 350 thousandths, leaving 20 thousandths per side stock. Another pass at 710 thousandths, leaving 20 thousandths per side stock. Am I done? No, I am not. And I'm not sure what I did here, but somehow I have got it to where it won't scroll. So bear with me. I'm not sure why it's doing that. But I'll use the down button. And there's the other way to do this. Just hit some enter and it'll come up there. All right. This means I need to do one thing. I'm going to copy again because I need to take another pass. I've taken one pass right here. Like I said, 350 thousandths, leaving 20 thousandths per side. Another pass, 710 thousandths deep, leaving 20,000 stock. I got to get rid of that 20,000 stock. So I'm just going to copy this whole thing right here. Come on. I'm having a hard time getting her to copy today. I don't know why. We'll paste. Okay. Now, right there we go. Now you're going, well, what's going to change that? Okay, this is what I'm going to change. I'm going to leave everything else. The Z depth is perfect, 710. Instead of doing D1 though, this time I'm going to change that to D2. And this time that's going to be the actual. In other words, it's going to go back there and on D number 2, I'm going to tell it that it's a 0.9375 end mill, not point. That'll definitely give you an error if you put that in any kind of control. Now in the comms run statement, it don't give a damn. Control S. So right there, okay. Now let's think of something here. Because I told it, let me go here, 977 thousandths and 5/10. What's half of that? Divided by 2. I'm doing this to check to make sure 488 thousandths is as much. So I moved 500 thousandths. I'm still fine. So this safe start position is good even though I told the control that I was using a bigger end mill. I still have plenty of movement there to make with my cutter comp so it'll activate properly. Remember, you always have to make a move with cutter comp that is at least equal to, and don't make it equal to, make it greater than the radius. And I add 50 to 60 thousandths, and now you see why, because then you don't have to change it later. Control S if you haven't done that. Again, we're going to go ahead and resequence. And I'm doing this because I know for a fact this was giving some people a hard time. Yep, no, nothing as much fun as watching somebody code, huh? And this is really, I wouldn't do this. I would just leave it alone and then stick it into CNC editor, which is this little cute thing down here. I have put it up on the website I have put it up on the in Ivy Learn in several places, so you can download it if you want to. I think some people did. I'm not sure. Now we're going to get right here. And of course, this is going to be 300. Control S. All right. Now, what it's going to do is when it makes this final pass, like I said, it'll go back to its safe start position. Okay. Z is going to stay. In this case, let's see, we were already at 710 thousandths down, so we just moved over. I don't really need this line, but I'm going to leave it in there. It won't hurt a thing. Okay. So But with D2, I'd tell the control, and this is what I'm putting in the control, telling us it's the actual size. That way it's going to make this final pass at 710,000 steep, leaving no stock. That's right, that's all you have to do. This is just a note. Remember, I'm going to put this in the control. Basically what I'm saying is that's going to be what I tell it. All right, I'm not going to do that on all of those. You don't want me to do it. I don't want to do it either. Um, I'll tell you what. Do some copying real quick here. The thing about programs is you're actually creating something. You know. All right. Control S. What I did was I'm just telling you that's what size for that pass. Let's go over it again because what I did was I just made three passes. Three simple passes on a square. Okay, first pass, once again, 350,000 steep, leaving 20 thousandths per side stock. Second pass, 710,000 steep, leaving 20 thousand stock per side. Okay, that means on all these edges there's going to be 20 thousandths. Final pass, since I went to D2 and told it that it was the actual size of the end mill, it comped in even closer, removed the 20 thousandths, and leaving us a really good surface finish. Now, if that's not a quick way to program, I don't know what is. I mean, seriously, uh, Mastercam would do it quicker once you got good with it. There's still a pretty decent learning curve on Mastercam, and I do teach Mastercam. All right. At this particular point, we've done finished the outside. We have finished the outside. Now, I'm going to have to do the island now. Yes, the island. So let's do that. Control S. Let's give us some of these right here. Remember, these will come up if I say, if I try to highlight them. If I hit Control A, look at that, it doesn't. That's very interesting. It will on other things. Okay, never mind. So we're right here. What do we want to do? Well, we've turned everything off. I'm going to go to line N30 there. Okay. What do I want to do? Well, simply this. Okay. I'm going to bring Z up. I want Z up. Now, what I want? Well, 200,000 steep on a 15/16 end mill is no problem. We do not have to take that 100 thousandths pass. That'd be nuts. It'll take it no fine. So we're just going to go, okay. Now we're already in G01, but this won't hurt. G1, Z minus, remember this, it's 0.2. And what about our feed? Well, again, I'm going to give it a feed this time because it's really not cutting anything. So I'm going to jump that feed up to like F20, 20 inches a minute. And yes, don't forget to put that decimal point in there. Control S if you haven't done that. All right, now let's remember right now the control is going to be moving at 20 inches per minute, which I guarantee you that's too fast for this particular end mill, so don't try that. Now, what I want to do now, I'm going to go ahead and start milling this contour. Now this is a little more difficult, so it's going to take a little longer. We're going to do the same thing that we did before. We're going to take it one pass in depth right there. Okay, we're definitely going to do that one pass in depth, but what we're not going to do, okay, but we are going to try it again. Sorry, I'll just edit this out. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to take that all in one depth pass, but we're still going to leave 20 thousandths on all our surfaces here. Okay, yeah, so that's what we're going to do. So let's go. What's point you, since that's 1, 2, 3, 4. You can't, remember this, you have to comp to, you can't comp to the middle of a radius. It won't work. So we have to have a point to start. I'd say the middle of this flat area right here. Now, I could zoom in, but I'm not going to. So someplace in the middle, let's figure out where that is. Well, this is centered. Okay, the island is centered within, so the middle of that is going to be, well, Y is going to be 2 inches, and X, this edge lines right up with that, so it's 375. So let's go ahead and do this. Let's get our comp going here. So we're going to comp over first. So we got our G1 activated. Again, just so that we make sure everything goes, is that cutter comp left? It absolutely is. So G41. So we're going to G1, a G41, and we're going to move X. I always put X first. Just get in the habit of doing this X, Y, and Z. Don't you'll freak your operators out if if you change your format. Even Mastercam spits it out like that. Okay, so there you go. So G41, X is going to go to, well, looks like 0.375 is where I wanted it to go to. So 0.375. Now remember, we were moving at 20 inches per minute. That's not our calculated feed rate. Our calculated feed rate is 6. And I don't have to put that 0 there. Control S. So X moved over here. Remember, it's down here, so now it's moved over here. You're going, well, that's a big waste. Well, right now we're not worried super about efficiency. I mean, I could move it faster than that. Matter of fact, okay, for those of you who are worried about efficiency, I'll leave it at 20 inches a minute. We won't even do that. Control F. We'll leave it at 20 inches a minute. It'll comp over there at 20 inches per minute, no trouble. N340 space. Okay, so I'm not going to give it any more G1. So now I want to do what? I want to move up to my Y. Well, this time I'm definitely going to start cutting something. So Y is going to go to 1 inch. We're going to cut up to 1 inch. Remember, we're down here. We're cutting stock. Y is going to come up at 1 inch. So I'm going to go Y 1 point. Don't need that. And F6 point. That is the bare minimum the control needs. So right now it moved up. It moved over to there. All right. Now that'd be my point 1, which point 1 is going to be in the middle of that. We'll call it a tab. I don't know what else to call it. Point 2 is going to be this right here. Let me see if I can do this. Okay, I did it, and I'll get rid of that in here in a minute. So point 1's there. Point 2, point 3, point 4, point 5. That's point 6, point 7, point 8. So let's try this again. That may be point 9. So point 1 was in the middle. We needed a place to come to, so we went to point 1, 2, 3, 4. Excuse me. This is 1, 2, 3, 4. That would have been 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So those are 13 points. Actually 14, 15, 16, 17. Let me count it one more time. Point 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Then maybe this would be 14, 15, 16, 17. I highly recommend you fill out your sheets. You do not have to turn them in yet, but your coordinate sheets that are down there, I would calculate up those 13 points. All right, so let's see if I click any place here. This should go away. Yes, very good. And I'm back to Mr. I wonder if I can get that. Go and just go into. If I hit escape, what will happen? Yeah, there we go. Okay, now I got an arrow instead of that stupid little. Actually, that magnifying glass is kind of useful so you can see where we're actually talking about. All right, let's get back to this. So right now we're right here. We milled up to here. Okay. Now, how do we find out where this point is? This point right here, because we got to tell it to go to there, and because that's where we're going to start our arc. Because right now it's right in the middle of this. So how do I tell it to go? How do I calculate that up? Well, let's take a look. First off, this thing we know is 1 inch, 250 thousandths from there to there. All right. I got that 1 inch, 250. This radius is 500 thousandths. Typical means all of these radiuses are 500 thousandths. All right. So that's a 500, 500, 500, 500, etc. So what that means is these are in the center of the radius. So from there to there is 500 thousandths. Now let me show you how this works. From there to there is 500 thousandths. From there to there is 1 inch, 250. You're going, how does that get me to this point? Well, there's a lot of different ways to do that. So this would be the part if I was in class, I'd actually let everybody else just try it themselves, then I go around and show them, but can't do that here. So let's calculate that point up. So first off, I've got 2 inches minus 1 inch 250 divided by 2. Well, I already know what that is. If I take 2 inches minus 1 inch 250, I got 750 thousandths. Okay, that's how much I got left over. Divide that by 2, I got 375 thousandths. That's how far it is to there. So that's how to do it. Now I can do it with the calculator real quick. Okay, but trust me, it's 375. Let's double check. I'll double check. Okay, so 2 minus 1.25 equals this. That's 750. So that's how much is left. Divided by 2 equals 375. So yes, so it's 375 thousandths from there to there. So that whole is going to be x 375, y 375. That is the locations of that hole. Let's get this out of here. Just clear it out there. So that still does not help us. Well, we know it's 375 from there to there. Okay, right? So then all we have to do is some more stuff. So if it's 375 from there to there, it's 1 inch 250 from there to there. Now let's watch that. Go back here. 0.375 plus 1.25. Okay, so I just come up with the distance from here to here. I just come up with actual. Now that's the y coordinate of that particular hole. The coordinate of this hole right here is going to be x 0.375 and y is going to be what, 1 inch 625. Now how does that get me to that point? Well, I know it's 500 thousandths from the center of this hole to that edge, right? So I just subtract 500 thousandths, subtract 0.5, and this is print reading. This is print reading, and if you haven't done a print reading class, that makes it CNC very difficult. Some people don't understand that. Well, that's 1 inch 125 thousandths. So that's what our point is. That's what it is right there. That place right there. I hit that X again. Escape. Not sure what's okay. Oh, that's exactly what I did not want to have happen. Thank you, Jesus, for that. Okay. Still hoping I'd had that nice little arrow. We decided this was, as I recall, let's see if we got that. We'll do that again. So I took 2 inches right there minus 1.25 divided by 2, got 375, then added 1.25 to that and I got 1 inch 625, then subtracted 500 thousandths and I got 1 inch 125 thousandths. So that's what the y coordinate is. The x coordinate's given to you, it's 375. So while this went up to y 1 inch, we could really change that to this. That right there, Control S, okay? Because that is a good point to start. But I'll go back. You're going, what are you doing? I'm changing it because I'm going to do it like this. This is just for learning only. I wouldn't do it any other way. Okay, so there we go. I don't have to put the F rimmer in there. I don't have to put the G1 in there. They're modal. Control S, new line. Space. Okay. Now at this point, cutter cont's activated. So now I'm going to do an arc because I'm right here. So I want to go from there to there. Now 1, 2, 3, 4. We said 5. So I'm at 0.6. So I'm going to want to go from 0.6 to 0.7. Okay. And that is an arc. Now which direction are we going? Well, folks, that's counterclockwise in case you don't know. So that's a G02. So we just have to go G2 space, and we have to come up with the coordinates of this point. Well, that isn't that difficult. We already know that it's in y it's 1 inch 625 thousandths, 375 from there to there, 1 inch 200. So that's my y. I'm not going to put that down there. What's my x coordinate though? What in the world is my x coordinate? Well, it's simple again. Remember, we're coming from here, so we know it's 3 inches. So I'll show you. We got 3 inches. We're going to subtract 2 inches 250 thousandths from 3 inches. Divide that by 2. That'll get me the distance from there to there, which we already know is 375. So I don't need to do it, but it'll do it because this minus this is 750. Divided by 2 is 375. But we're given that. So we got 375 from there to there, right? From here to there. but we want to know how far it is from here to there. Well, we know it's 500 thousandths because we had a 500 thousandths radius. So I got 375, and it's put here in two places, by the way. Look, didn't even see it. So 375 plus 500 thousandths. That sounds like 875. So I'm going to x 0.875. That's 7/8 by the way. Y is going to be, now you do have to do this. Y is what? Y is 1 inch 625 thousandths. 0.625, and don't forget your R is 0.5. That's all you need right there. Now we're running at 6, remember, right over here, 6 inches a minute, so we're not going to change that. You can put an F there if you wanted to slow it down. That's fine. New line in 370. Okay, so what do we got here? This time we're going back to G1. Yeah, you do have to do it this time because we're going to go from there to there. So 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, 0.4, 0.5, 0.6, 0.7. This is 0.8, so we're going to go to 0.8. Well, how do we come up with 0.8? 0.8 is just going to be an X move, so I'll put X in there. The question is, what is the coordinate of 0.8? Well, you should have already calculated this up because you're just beginning. That's why you calculate your coordinates first, but I'm trying to save us some time here. It may backfire on me. So let's see. I know it's 2 inches, 250 thousandths from there to there. All right? So let me see. I can do this. We know it's 375 from here to there, plus 2 inches, 250 thousandths from there to there, and then 500 thousandths from there to there. Let's do it again. From here to here is 375. From there to there is 2 inches, 250. From there back to that point is, guess what? Is minus 500 thousandths. So let's try that real quick. Bring up the calculator again. There you go. So I got 0.375. Okay, plus 2.25 equals that. So that's the distance from there to there. Now all I have to do is subtract 500 thousandths. I can do that in my head, but I won't. 2 inches, 125 thousandths. So let's get, so X is going to go to 2.125. All of those. Okay, you have to have all of those. All of those are significant digits. Okay, Control S if we haven't done it. All right, new line. All right, I'm not going to give it the G1. I'm not. I'm going to add some, later on we'll add some stuff here. Get this out of the way. Let's do it right now. Get this moved up. All right. So I went to there. So what is it? Time to do another radius. That's right, another arc. All right, what is that? What direction is that? Well, that's counterclockwise too. So is it G2 counterclockwise? No. Come on, you guys. G3s are counterclockwise. G2 is, so we want a G3 there. X is going to go, remember, you tell it where it ends. The arc ends right here. Well, we already figured that one up. It was 2.25, right? Plus 0.375. I'll do it for you just in case. There, clear. 2.25 plus 0.375, 2.625. That's where that's going to end. Move that over there. X. X. I already forgot what it was. That's why you write it down. 2.625. Okay. And what's my Y? Well, my Y is going to be the same as this point right here is where we're going to. It's the same as that one in Y. So what that was right here. 1.2 Y, 1. Don't forget your R. It will not work without an R. And like I said, you can. It allows you to put a feed rate in there if you want. Control S. Now remember, if you did a GO2, it would have gone like, this is what this arc would have gone. It would have gone like that. It would have gone middle like that. And now you go, oh, an arc. Well, you got a GO2 where you had a GO3. The numbers are right. All right. New line. Okay. Okay. So we want a G1. And we're going to go ahead and go what? we're going to mill from there to there. All right. So X is going to stay exactly where it's at. All we're going to be doing is moving Y. Where are we going to move Y to? Well, let's figure out that point here. Again, we know it's 375 from there to there. That's what we've figured out many times. It is. It's 375 from there to there. It actually says it right here. 375 from there to there plus 500 thousandths from there to there. So 375 plus 500 thousandths is what? 875, isn't it? That's what we have up here too. So that's y.875. Yep. So y.875. And we do need to put that G1 in there. I do not need to change my feed rate. Control S, new line, in 400. Okay, I don't need to give it the G1. I will not, because it's going to be another arc. See, we're going to go from here to there. So what direction is that? That again is counterclockwise. So we got a G3 and put our X in there. Let me see. What is our X loci point? What is the X coordinate of this position? Well, 375 from there to there, 2.25 from there to there, minus 5, minus 0.5. So I'll do it for you real quick. Clear it. All right. So here we go. 0.375 plus 2.25 equals that. Minus 0.5. That's my X coordinate, which shouldn't have surprised you at all. X 2.125. Let me double check, make sure I didn't put down that. That's correct. X 2.125 space what? Okay, well here's what you always have to have a Y. Okay, Y is going to be, well, it's 375. That's given to us. And again, we got R.5. We do not have to change the feed rate. New line, Control S, and let's go in 410. Okay. Now, this is going to be a G1 again because we're going to go straight. So we have to do that. G1. We're going to go to this point right here. Well, I already know what Y is. Y is going to be 0.375. X is going to be 0.375 plus 0.5. 375 from there to the center of the hole. From the center of the hole to there, it's 500 thousandths. So X is 0.875. Okay. Do I need to give it a feed rate? I do not. Control S. Okay. In 420. Okay. All right. So I'm right there. Now, another arc. And this one is, once again, counterclockwise. So we're using G3s. So let's see if we know what that is. Well, X is going to be 0.375. It's 375 thousandths from there to there. Remember, you always tell it where the arc ends. X is 0.375. What is Y though? What is our Y value going to be? Control S if you haven't done that. Let's take a look here. What is our Y value? Well, we know we got 375 from there to there. We got 500. Sounds like it's 0.875 to me. Notice the numbers. That's one of the reasons I draw things symmetrically. The numbers kind of make it easier. So Y is 0.875. R, of course, is our radius is 0.5. Do we need anything else? We do not. New line, Control S. In 430 space. Okay, so this is going to be, now what do we want? Well, we want to finish this off. Okay, you really want to finish this off. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and give it a G1. Now you're saying, wouldn't that have finished it? We've already milled this, and remember, we're doing this pass right here. I'm going to explain something now. Maybe, hopefully, you've noticed that there's another mistake over here. There's a mistake over here. And I'm going to leave it up there for a little while. And I'll fix it here very shortly. Alright. So, let me see. I want to go back to what? Well, how about my safe start? Now, I don't want to wrap it off there. So, my safe start was X minus 0.5. Okay. That's all you need. We don't need anything else. Feed rate's modal, everything else is modal. New line, Control S, in 440. Okay. Now, I don't need to give it a G1, but I'm going to turn cutter comp off, so just to be safe. That's a G40, remember? And I'm going to return Y to its safe start position. Now, Y minus 0.500. All right. And in this case, watch, see, I can override the feed rate because at this point I am not cutting anything. So 20 inches a minute's cool. Control S. That right there should have completed the whole thing. So we started over here. First Z came up to 200 thousandths because that's how deep it is. See, let me make sure you see it. 200 thousandths deep. All right. Then we G1'd, we turned our cutter comp off by going over. We were still off the part, so we went 20 inches a minute. Then we went up to here. Then we went up a little bit further to here. Now, if you did it single block, it would stop. Now, there's a lot of people would tell you that that move right there, this move right here is unnecessary. This is the only one. And they would be right. But I'm going to leave that alone just so that nobody gets, confused about it. Okay. So, let's see. F20, we turned all that off. Now, where's my mistake? Huh? Right here. Forgot to put a D in there. Well, remember our roughing cutter was D1. Let's go ahead and get back up here. Right here. Looking for a place to paste my note. Control S. Okay. So that made one pass around the whole thing here. 200,000 steep, leaving 20,000 stock on all these sides. Yay, on all my surfaces. Now, some people would have said, Randall, are you sure you want to go 200,000 steep? Well, maybe I want to leave 20,000 stock in Z. That's usually too much. I probably leave 15. So how about we just go down 195? Yeah, Control S. All right, so this is my whole pass now. Hold it, that's only 5,000 stock. I'm smarter than that. I just can't say it. All right, here we go. So that is a roughing pass. We left 15,000 stock in Z, 20,000 in both X and Y. We're ready to go. I'm going to go ahead and come down here, hit enter right here, and I don't remember if I did this or not, but I'll do it again. I'm going to copy this. Come on. And I'm going to paste. Boom. I hit Control S. All right, what's the only thing I have to change? Well, we have to change a few things. First off, this has got to be 200 thousandths. Does it have to be 200? It could be 0.2. All right. Honest to God, so we're trying to be. I'll hit Control S there again. All right. So I brought down at 20 inches a minute. All of this other stuff now, except this time, instead of this, because I'm finishing. So I'm going to use D2 here. And Control S. Okay. So right there. That, if I did everything right, which I think I did, but I'll prove it. I'll check it out in NC Viewer and make sure that it's working right and plotting right. That right there should have done everything that I needed. And now I took 200,000 steep. I've got using D2, so it goes in and it's using the on. It'll take a whole nother pass and it'll remove that 20,000 stock that I left both in X and Y axes, and it's going to remove the 15,000 stock that I left in Z. So I'm going to hit Control S. So remember, that D number becomes pretty important. If you don't know how to have a D number here, most of the time it'll error out, but the error will make absolutely no sense. They'll give you some sort of error message. Remember, the people who program these, the software engineers who program the controls and things like that, are not machinists, and they just put up stuff that helps them, not you. So you're going, what the heck? It's not going to say no D number found. Now, it'd be nice if it did it, but it won't. So now, rather than take the time to resequence all these numbers, I'm really not going to. All right, I'm not going to. What we've done is we just did the outside in 3 passes, 2 depth passes, leaving 20 thousandths and 1 finish pass. Then we did this and we did the island in 1 pass, leaving 20 thousandths, and then another pass. So there you go. Now, let's see if I can get this. Hit the Control S here. I'll resequence it right now. I'm going to go ahead and open Predator CNC Editor. Very pretty, huh? And you know the easiest way to do this, folks? You can go file and go find it wherever you saved it and things like that. By now you should be saving your files. You can just do this. Put your insertion point any place in here. Hit Control A. Alright? Now, it looked like it wiped it all out. What it did was it selected it all. Then I'm any insertion point in here. Once again, I am left clicking and I'm going down to copy. I'm going over here and I'm put my insertion point in Predator Editor and paste. Okay, there it is. Now you see this right here, this is all viable crap. I want to delete that because that's gonna, there's probably more of that's gonna show up. I'm just gonna hit, I have no idea how many of them I have up there. Let's see if you'll get to where I can't select anymore. So there we go. Now I don't have a finished program here. I really don't. Now I am going to do one other thing here, okay? And let's just give it something else. I don't know, 450. No, and we'll go G28, Z1, Z4. We'll go 4 inches above the part. That's a good clamp jump in most cases. Okay. And if you wanted to, that'd probably be a good place to put an M09. That'll turn your coolant off. Remember, no M is there, nothing in between the G41 and the G40 except G codes and X and Y moves and anything else that needs them, but none of that other stuff. No Z moves. Okay, so that, and finally, and by the way, a lot of you have been numbering the M30. I found on some controls that does not work good. All right, so process. Let's resequence. Let's go by 10. That's applied in current files. Okay, boom. There we go. Now let's see if this works again. Now that I've got my numbers there, let's double check, go up and see. Is everything? Yeah, we'll have to scroll up. 160, 230, 450. Yeah, that works so well. Now I'm just going to do this. I'm going to hit Control A. Selected everything again. I am left clicking any place on the blue here, and you can copy it, you can cut, you can do, I would copy just in case you made a mistake. Go back over here. We know this is already selected, should be, and I'm just going to put my insertion point any place in here, click, and go paste. Boom, look at that. And hit Control S. I've sequenced the whole thing. Now, we didn't drill the holes. We're going to do that in another program. What I just want to do is I want to get you to where, you know, we understand how to optimize. And what we did was we milled the outside, once again, in 3 passes. 1 pass at 350 thousandths, leaving 20 thousandths stock in X and Y. Another pass at 710 thousandths, leaving stock in X and Y. A third pass at 710 thousandths, leaving no stock in X and Y using the, and then we did the island in 1 depth pass of, actually we did it in 2 depth passes. We did it in 1 at 195 thousandths in Z, so leaving 15 thousandths on that, and then 20 thousandths on everything else, and then we went ahead and took another pass. So that's what that should have right there. Now this video is getting a little long. I'm going to try and edit it out some. Hopefully it worked out pretty well. Next one we'll do is I will add, the next one video that I do, I will take this and I will add the holes, okay? And start introducing you some more G codes. G81s, G83s, a G84, and tool changes. Right now we have no tool change. We did this all with the same tool. All right. Very good.